Okay, so in this video, we are going to solve all the doubts from Maths Chapter 1 Number System, right? So let's begin. So you have asked me certain doubts from the first worksheet. The first doubt is question number 18. Find two irrational numbers between 2 and 2.5. Now there are many ways of finding two irrational numbers between 2 and 2.5, but the easiest way, which I feel, is you have to write a decimal expansion, that is non-terminating, non-recurring decimal expansion, uh, greater than 2 and smaller than 2.5. So basically you have to write non, let me take a black pen, non-terminating, non-recurring decimal expansion of two numbers greater than 2 and smaller than 2.5. Greater than 2 and smaller than 2.5. So the first number can be 2.01, 001, 0001, 00001, and so on. This is an irrational number. Why is this an irrational number? Because the pattern of repeating digits is changing continuously. So you can say that it is non-recurring. You will say, sir, 0 and 1 is always there. But look at the number of zeros. First, there was 1 0, then there are 2 zeros, then there are 3 zeros, then there are 4 zeros. So number of zeros are changing, increasing. Right? So that's why it is non-recurring. Non-terminating because it is never ending. So first number, which is an irrational number between 2 and 2.5, is this one. The second number can be 2.23497863480214 and so on. So I've just written random digits after the decimal point, but I just made sure that the first number after decimal point should be smaller than 5. Why? Because I want numbers between 2 and 2.5. So to keep it smaller than 2.5, I just wrote 2.2 and then I continued writing some random digits. Why random digits? Because that is how irrational numbers decimal expansions are. They are non-terminating, keep on going and going and going, and non-recurring. They are not repeating themselves. So these are two irrational numbers, if you ask me, between 2 and 2.5. Right? So that was your question number 18's doubt. Then you have asked me question number 19 also. Find two irrational numbers between 0.12 and 0.13. Can you apply the same logic and solve this? It's very easy. See, let me solve. This was question number 18, and now I'm going to solve 19 for you. The first number between 0.12 and 0.13, the first number between them will be 0.1201, 001, 0001, 00001, and so on. It is clearly greater than 0.12, right, and smaller than 0.13, and it is non-terminating and non-recurring. That's why it is irrational number. The second number between 0.12 and 0.13 should be 0.125934843026 and so on. Just random numbers. I just made sure that there is a number greater than 0.12. So 0.12 something something is definitely greater than 0.12, and it is smaller than 0.13. Right? So these are two irrational numbers between 0.12 and 0.13. So I hope this doubt is absolutely clear. Let's go to the next doubt. Okay, represent root 3.5 on real number line. Okay, this question I have actually uh, solved in one of my video previously, but again I'm going to solve, and then I'm just going to show you how to represent root 3.5 on the number line. You will represent root 9.4 and root 10.5 yourself, okay, after seeing this example. So this is just an example for you. So let us represent root of 3.5 on the number line. So for plotting root 3.5, first choose a unit. Step 1. Choose a scale / unit. Okay, so I will choose 1 unit is equal to 2 centimeter, right? Okay. Step 2. Draw a line of 1 unit length. Draw a line of 1 unit length. Now what is 1 unit? 2 centimeter. So can you tell me, uh, I'm sorry, I just will make a change. Draw a line of 3.5 units, not 1 unit. Draw a line of 3.5 units, because we have to plot root of 3.5. So that's why we'll draw a line of 3.5 units over here. What is 3.5 units in centimeter? If 1 unit is 2 centimeter, 3.5 units will be 7 centimeter. So first draw a line 7 centimeter long. Suppose this is the line 7 centimeter. Name it AB. Okay. Then step 3. Extend AB by 1 unit. Extend AB by 1 unit. So basically from point B you have to extend it by 1 unit. 1 unit means 2 centimeter. So extend it further by 2 centimeter up to point C. Up to C. Step 4. Draw a semicircle with AC as diameter. You have to draw a semicircle with AC as a diameter. So for that you need to find the midpoint of AC. And for finding the midpoint, what you'll do is you will draw perpendicular bisector of AC. For drawing perpendicular bisector of AC, from A you will keep your point of the compass on point A, take more than half distance, draw an arc over here, one arc over here, then keep the point compass point on point C, draw an arc over here, and then simply join these two arcs by dotted line. Okay, so the point which you find over here, this point O mean, this is the midpoint of AC. Using O as the center and OA or OC as radius, draw a semicircle which might look like this. You can draw a better semicircle. I'm just doing freehand thing here. Okay, now you have to draw a perpendicular from point B intersecting the semicircle. If you want, you can extend this line further like this. Okay, now draw a perpendicular from point B. This is the perpendicular from point B. It intersects the semicircle at point D. Okay, Now this BD which you see over here is nothing but root of 3.5. BD is root of 3.5. I'll write step 5. Step 5 is draw BD perpendicular to AC. Here BD is equal to root of 3.5. The explanation or justification of why this is root 3.5, you can see the video which I have posted earlier that says plot root x on number line. That is there in the playlist of maths chapter 1 on YouTube. You can still watch it and find the justification I have explained in detail, right? Now how to find root 3.5? See, for that you have to uh, keep the point of the compass on point B, take the distance as BD. So your arc length will be equal to BD, your pencil will be on D, compass point will be on B, and you have to draw an arc like this. And this arc will cut this horizontal line. Wherever this arc will cut, that point will be root of 3.5. So that is root of 3.5. Okay, so B, your what is point B? You will ask me where is 0, where is 1. So point B is nothing but 0. Point C is 1. And this point which you got over here is root of 3.5. Right? So this is how you plot root of 3.5 on a number line. I have mentioned the steps also here for you. So you can go and plot root 9.4, root 10.5 and so on. It will be easier for you now. Don't forget to choose a scale or a unit. Okay. Because 3.5 is a small number, I took unit as 2 centimeter. For 9.4, 10.5, you can choose the unit to be as it is. That is 1 unit is equal to 1 centimeter and then draw it. Right. So that was question number 24. Moving on uh, to the next one. Just a moment. Okay, I think all the doubts from this particular worksheet are done. Let's move to the second worksheet, second part. Yes, so this one has got many of them. Okay, the first doubt from this second worksheet, rationalization worksheet, is question number 13. Now it has got two doubts in it. All sums from question number 13 are very similar. Some student has had told me that the whole question number 13 is doubt. That is fine, very good that you have left the whole question as doubt. But if I solve a couple of them, you should be able to solve the rest of them, right? Because I want you to get the answer rather than me solving everything for you. If you get the answer yourself, that confidence is incomparable. Okay, so let's start with question number 13 here. Let's do the first one. Okay, let me make some space for myself. Root 3 minus 1 upon root 3 plus 1 is equal to a plus b root 3. You have to find the values of a and b in this particular question, right? So for finding the values of a and b, you have to simplify your left hand side, LHS. And how to simplify your LHS? By rationalizing the denominator. Let's do it. So first I'm going to start with LHS. Root 3 minus 1 upon root 3 plus 1 into root 3 minus 1 upon root 3 plus 1, which will give you root 3 square minus 1 square upon root 3 plus 1 the whole square. Hey, I've done some mistake. I've done some mistake. Wait. So when I multiply, when I rationalize the denominator, I have to keep one thing in mind. Here, the sign of the conjugate will be opposite to that of the terms in denominator. So if denominator has root 3 plus 1, its conjugate will be root 3 minus 1. Right? So you have to multiply by root 3 minus 1 in the numerator and denominator. So this will become root 3 minus 1 the whole square upon root 3 minus 1 into root 3 plus 1. Or root 3 plus 1 into root 3 minus 1 is root 3 square minus 1 square. A plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. Okay, this will be simplified into root 3 square plus 2 into root 3 into 1 plus 1 square the whole upon 3 minus 1. Root 3 square is 3 and 1 square is 1. I have expanded the numerator using the identity of, oh, here also I have made a mistake. See, I'm making a lot of mistake today. I don't know why, but it's okay. I'm catching them before I go ahead. So I have used the identity of a minus b the whole square, which is a square minus 2ab plus b square. So this will become 3 minus 2 root 3 plus 1 the whole upon 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 plus 1 is 4 minus 2 root 3 upon 2. So 2 comes out common, 2 minus root 3 remains inside. I've taken out 2 common from the numerator, both the terms, upon 2. 2 gets cancelled here. The answer is 2 minus root 3. So if I compare this with a plus b root 3, see, I will compare it with the RHS, right hand side. 2 minus root 3 is equal to a plus b root 3. So can you tell me what is in the place of a? What is in the place of a? 2. So the value of a is 2. What is in the place of b? Now you will say that in the place of b there is nothing, because there is just minus sign and then there is root 3. So I will tell you that, can I write this as 2 plus minus 1 root 3 is equal to a plus b root 3? Can I write it this way? 2 plus minus 1 into root 3. So now can you tell me what is in the place of b? What is in the place of b over here? Minus 1. So what is the value of b? Therefore b is equal to minus 1. So that's it. That is how you find your a and b, just by simple comparison. So first you have to bring your LHS or left hand side in simplest form and then find a and b. Okay, I hope this doubt is clear. Okay, let's solve one more question just like this. That is question number D from question number 13. Sub question D. 5 plus root 3 upon 7 minus 4 root 3 is equal to 47a plus root 3b. Root 3b. Okay, that's something new. It should be b root 3, but they have given root 3b. That doesn't make a big change. So what we are going to do is, we are going to start with your LHS, left hand side, 5 plus root 3 upon 7 minus 4 root 3. What is the next step? We have to rationalize the denominator. So 7 plus 4 root 3, and here also it will be 7 plus 4 root 3. So 5 plus root 3 multiplied by 7 plus 4 root 3 the whole upon 7 minus 4 root 3 into 7 plus 4 root 3 will be 7 square minus 4 root 3 the whole square. Now multiplying two brackets over here, binomials in the numerator. So 5 will be multiplied with 7 plus 4 root 3. plus root 3 will be multiplied by 7 plus 4 root 3. Right, so 7 square will be 49 minus 4 root 3 square. See, 4 square will be 16 and root 3 square will be 3. 16 3s are 48. So this will become 5 sevens are 35. 5 sevens are 35 plus 20 root 3 plus 7 root 3 plus 4 threes are 12, the whole upon 1. 49 minus 48 is 1. Let's simplify this. 35 plus 12, 47 plus 20 root 3 plus 7 root 3, 27 root 3. I think we have simplified this enough. So what should be the answer? 47a plus root 3b. If I compare 47 plus 27 root 3 with 47a plus root 3b, can you tell me what is in the place of a? See, the first term is 47 on the left hand side and 47a on the right hand side. They are both equal. So what should be a? Let's solve them. Let's directly equate them with each other. 47 is equal to 47a, and therefore a is equal to 47 by 47, which is nothing but 1. So a is 1, and what do you get when you equate 27 root 3 is equal to root 3b? Root 3 gets cut, and b is equal to 27. B is equal to 27. Right, so the value of a is 1 and the value of b is 27 in this particular question. So I've solved 2 questions from question number 13. So those who had the doubts in similar questions now can try the remaining questions. And I'm again telling you, these questions are from the reference book R.D. Sharma. These questions are from R.D. Sharma. So if you have R.D. Sharma, you can definitely check your answers in R.D. Sharma. These are all the solved examples. So you will see the methods also. Here I am explaining you because if you just look at the answer, you will not understand. That's why I'm doing it. I'm showing it how to do it step by step. Right? So, but answers, if you know it, if you just want to check the answer, you can check it in R.D. Sharma. See, now the bookstores have opened slowly. So you can very well visit some bookstore or call them whenever they are going to be open, or you can order it from Flipkart. They are also delivering academic books, right? So you can get R.D. Sharma for yourself for class 9th, and you can find all these solutions in R.D. Sharma and more questions to practice like these, right? But it's my duty to solve these for you right now, and that's what I'm doing. So this is definitely going to help you for the upcoming test, right? So let's go to question number 14b. You have to simplify this. Question number 14b. Question number 14 part B. 4 plus root 5 upon 4 minus root 5 plus 4 minus root 5 upon 4 plus root 5. You have to simplify this, okay? The question is simplify. So see, there are 2 methods now to simplify this. Either you can take each of the fractions separately, each of them separately, and then rationalize them, rationalize the denominator, and then add the answers. Or the second method, which I'm going to do it for you, is take the LCM directly. So you have to To add these two fractions, you have to take the LCM of the denominator. So what will be the LCM of 4 minus root 5 and 4 plus root 5? The LCM of 4 minus root 5 and 4 plus root 5 is the product of 4 minus root 5 and 4 plus root 5. So you just have to multiply these two numbers to get their LCM, right? So I'll just write here LCM of 4 minus root 5 and 4 plus root 5 is 4 minus root 5 multiplied by 4 plus root 5, right? So the product of these two numbers is the LCM. So what is the product of these two numbers? Let's find it out. So if this is in the form of a minus b into a plus b. So a square minus b square 16 minus 5. What is 16 minus 5? 11. So this is the product of these two numbers, which we are going to use it later. So this is the LCM also. 11 is the LCM, right? So how to write this further now? 4 plus root 5 upon 4 minus root 5 plus 4 minus root 5 upon 4 plus root 5. What should I multiply by 4 uh, minus root 5 over here to make it 11? 4 plus root 5. And what should I multiply here with 4 plus root 5 to make it 11? 4 minus root 5. Right? So I'm going to multiply these numbers in the numerator as well as denominator. And the same thing goes with the second fraction. Let us continue here. Okay. So it's going to be 4 plus root 5 into 4 plus root 5. So I can write it as 4 plus root 5 the whole square. Right? Plus 4 minus root 5 the whole square upon 11. I have directly written 11. So you understood what did I do? I multiplied. Let me show you again with a red pen. I multiplied 4 plus root 5 in the numerator and in the denominator. 4 minus root 5 here in the numerator and in the denominator. So 4 plus root 5 the whole square plus 4 minus root 5 the whole square upon the LCM. LCM we already found, it was 11. Correct? So we have to just simplify this. Open the brackets. 4 plus root 5 the whole square. 4 square plus 2 into 4 into root 5 plus root 5 the whole square plus 4 square minus 2 into 4 into root 5 plus root 5 the whole square, the whole divided by 11. So here I'll get 16 plus 8 root 5 plus 5 plus 16 minus 8 root 5 plus 5. Root 5 square is 5, right? The whole divided by 11. So 8 root 5 minus 8 root 5 gets cut. 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 plus 10 is 42. 42 by 11. Don't leave the answer in improper fraction form. So 11 4s are 44, 11 3s are 33. 33 plus 9 is 42. So 3 9 by 11. This should be your final simplified answer of question number 14B. Right? Okay, let's talk about the next question. Somebody asked me this doubt. Question number 15. Okay. See, in this question, I'm really not keen on solving this question because it would be a waste of talent, a waste of opportunity, in fact. So I want you to use your talent, your skills here, and this is an opportunity for you. Don't just give up on not getting the answers. So what you have to do in question number 15, you have to show that the left hand side, the whole left hand side over here is equal to 5. How you will show? You will first write LHS, write all these fractions, and then separately rationalize them, each one of them. So you are going to do 5 rationalizations, and then with proper signs. Don't make mistakes in writing the terms without considering the signs in front of them. Like there is a minus sign over here. So whatever term you get here in the bracket will get its signs changed when this minus sign gets multiplied with both the terms in the bracket. There is a plus sign and then there is a minus sign. Then there is a plus sign. So consider the sign properly, rationalize them, and open all the brackets, add or subtract whatever terms, and finally you should be left with 5. This will be a very good question for you to solve. If you're not getting in one try, please try it once more. I've given you the instructions now, right? I want you to try it once more. Okay, question number 16. This looks interesting. If x is equal to 2 plus root 3, find the value of x square plus 1 by x square. Question number 16. X is equal to 2 plus root 3. You have to find the value of x square plus 1 by x square. So first find x square separately. X square is 2 plus root 3 the whole square, which is 2 square plus 2 into 2 root 3, 2 into 2 into root 3. Yeah, that is 2 into 2 root 3 plus root 3 the whole square. So that is 4 plus 4 root 3 plus 3. So 7 plus 4 root 3. 7 plus 4 root 3. So this is the value of x square. What will be 1 by x square? 1 by x square is 1 by 7 plus 4 root 3. We will multiply it with 7 minus 4 root 3 upon 7 minus 4 root 3. To rationalize it, of course. Otherwise, how can we add them simply? Right? So 1 by x square is 1 by 7 plus 4 root 3. And by rationalizing, what we'll get? 7 minus 4 root 3 upon 7 square minus 4 root 3 the whole square. So 7 minus 4 root 3 upon 49 minus 48. That is 7 minus 4 root 3 upon 1. 49 minus 48 is 1. So the final answer is 7 minus 4 root 3. That is the value of 1 by x square. We have already found the value of x square, 7 plus 4 root 3. So now it's very easy. X square plus 1 by x square is 7 plus 4 root 3, value of x square, plus 7 minus 4 root 3. Minus 4 root 3 plus 4 root 3 cut, 7 plus 7 is 14. Very easy, right? Because we separately squared them and rationalized them. Separately. This is the key. For any such kind of question, you can do separate squaring, rationalization, and you will find your answer easily. So question number 16 is done. 17 you have to solve with the same method. I'm not solving it. This one is for you. 18th. You want me to solve 18th? I will solve 18th one for you. I will solve 18th one. Without you asking me, I will solve it. Of course, you have asked me, but if this would have been a classroom, I would not have left this question. 18th one is good one. 18th one. X is equal to 1 minus root 2. You have to find the value of x minus 1 by x the whole cube. Okay, so x is equal to 1 minus root 2. Can you tell me what will be 1 by x? 1 by x will be 1 by 1 minus root 2. But what you will do? Instantly you will rationalize the denominator. So you will multiply it with 1 plus root 2 and 1 plus root 2 in numerator and denominator. So 1 by x becomes 1 plus root 2 upon 1 square minus root 2 square. Right? So this becomes 1 plus root 2 upon 1 minus 2. That is 1 plus root 2 upon minus 1. Which is, if I take minus sign in the numerator, it will be minus of 1 plus root 2. Which is minus 1 minus root 2. Are you following this? Minus 1 minus root 2. This is 1 by x. And I have already got x. Now I just have to find x minus 1 by x. So what is x? 1 minus root 2. Minus, what is 1 by x? Minus 1 minus root 2. Now this is becoming interesting. Let's see what we are going to get. 1 minus root 2 plus 1 minus minus plus root 2. So root 2 and minus root 2 will get cut and 1 plus 1 will give you 2. So this is the simplest value of x minus 1 by x. And therefore x minus 1 by x the whole cube will be equal to 2 cube will be equal to 8. Right? So that is how you solve question number 18th. Okay, question number 20. Let's move to the next doubt. Question number 20, somebody has asked me, the value of a is given 2 minus root 5 upon 2 plus root 5. Value of b is given, and b, this is b, and b, okay, b is 2 plus root 5 upon 2 minus root 5. Find the value of a square minus b square. What I recommend you is very easy. This is a very easy question. First, you have to do this. Okay, I'm just going to mark star for you. You have to do this. First, rationalize a. Rationalize a. Then rationalize b and find the rationalized version of a and b. Then square a. Whatever rationalized version of a you have got, square it. So you will find a square. Similarly, find b square. Square the rationalized version of b and find b square. Then find a square minus b square with their answers. You will easily get the answers. Right? So that is how you do question number 20. And there is one extra doubt. Somebody just asked me this today. See, why did I delay this doubt solving? There is a reason behind it. Many of you, you might not be aware, many of you, many of your classmates ask me doubts on a daily basis, and I'm really very, very happy about it. But when the doubts come from the same source, that is this particular worksheet, right? If the doubts are being asked from this particular worksheet, then every day if I'm getting different doubts, and if some of the doubts are repeating, then there are many common doubts. So if I solve for each one of you separately, like how I used to do earlier, then it would take a lot of time for me to solve one doubt maybe 3 or 4 times. That doesn't make sense. And now the scenario is such that we are not meeting in classroom. In classroom, all of you are sitting together and I'm solving somebody's doubts. Everyone's common doubt gets cleared at once. But here, it's very difficult because nobody knows what is the other person's doubt. They are being asked separately, that is privately, directly to me. So that's why I'm gathering all the doubts and solving it for you at once. In one particular video, all the doubts will be discussed and solved. So you know, or everyone knows what is the right method of solving. And this is going to continue, right? Because lockdown for us is going to continue. Even if the lockdown ends, schools are not going to open. Mark my words. Schools are not going to open so fast. So I don't know how many months before we can resume actual physical classes. So if we want to continue efficiently off online, right, we have to make a pattern where doubts will be solved by me, but not immediately. I will gather all the doubts as students complete their assignments slowly and they ask me doubts, right? I will gather all those doubts from a particular worksheet before test most probably, and then I will solve them for you. But for this, a big responsibility lies on all our shoulders is that we complete the worksheets in given time. Many students completed the worksheet late, and that's why they asked the doubts also late. But this should not happen now onwards. So whatever time limit I have given you, you please complete the worksheet in that particular time frame. Otherwise, other students will be suffering because of you. Right? I cannot say that I will not solve your doubts because you have solved the worksheet late. I have to solve your doubt. But then we have to pick up speed. So this is a suggestion for you that please pick up speed so that we can finish all the doubt solving in time and we can conduct tests also. So let's, without wasting time, move on to the last doubt of this particular part of the worksheet. There is one more worksheet of exponents which is remaining. So let's not forget that. But that's not very big. This is a huge worksheet and many doubts in this particular worksheet. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's start. So the last question which somebody has asked me just today is 1 upon 2 plus root 5 plus 1 upon root 5 plus root 6 plus so many terms, and then finally uh, 1 upon root 8 plus root 9. Now see the pattern. I want you to understand the pattern, and then we'll see how to figure out this question, how to solve this question. Figure out the question first before you solve it. If I write this whole question without the dots, how will it look like? And also I'm going to write, in place of 2, I'm going to write root 4 just to explain you what is going on over here. I just have to simplify this, okay? So 1 upon root 4 plus root 5 plus 1 upon root 5 plus root 6 plus 1 upon root 6 plus root 7 plus 1 upon root 7 plus root 8 plus 1 upon root 8 plus root 9, which is 3. Okay, so this is what I have to simplify. How will I simplify this? See, I have written all the terms now. There are total 5 terms in this particular question. And to solve this is very, very easy. First, I'm going to write it as 1 upon 2 plus root 5 plus 1 upon root 5 plus root 6 plus 1 upon root 6 plus root 7 plus 1 upon root 7 plus root 8 plus 1 upon root 8 plus 3, because root 9 is 3. Done. Now we are going to rationalize each and every fraction separately. Each and every fraction we are going to separately rationalize. How? 1 upon 2 plus root 5 will become 2 minus root 5 upon 2 minus root 5. So this will become 2 minus root 5 upon 2 square minus root 5 the whole square, which is 2 minus root 5 upon 2 square is 4 minus 5, right? 4 minus 5. So 2 minus root 5 upon minus 1, which is minus 2 plus root 5. Did you understand what did I do? I took the minus sign in the numerator and multiplied the minus sign with 2, it became minus 2, and multiplied minus sign with minus root 5, it became plus root 5. So this is the simplified form of the first fraction only. Like this, we have to simplify all 5 fractions. Let's do the other one. 1 upon root 5 plus root 6 into root 5 minus root 6 upon root 5 minus root 6. So root 5 minus root 6 upon root 5 the whole square minus root 6 the whole square is equal to, here it is root 5. Okay, root 5 minus root 6 upon 5 minus 6, that is root 5 minus root 6 upon minus 1, which is minus root 5 plus root 6. By now, some clever people might have started understanding the pattern in which this question is going. See, I will show you the pattern in a very interesting manner. 1 upon root 6 plus root 7. That is the next fraction, right? This is the fraction. This is rationalized. This is rationalized. The third one we are rationalizing now. What we will multiply it with? Root 6 minus root 7. Root 6 minus root 7. You know what will be the answer? The final answer? I'm just writing the final answer to show you the pattern. The final answer of first one was minus 2 plus root 5. So the same thing in the denominator I got, but only with the first term negative. The same thing in the denominator I got, only thing in the first term negative. The same thing in the denominator I will get here as an answer, but the first term will be negative. So minus root 6 plus root 7 will be the answer. You want to check? Let's check. Root 6 minus root 7 upon root 6 the whole square minus root 7 the whole square. Root 6 minus root 7 upon 6 minus 7, right? So that is minus 1. 6 minus 7 is minus 1. So root 6 minus root 7 upon minus 1. Minus sign will multiply in the numerator. You will get minus root 6 plus root 7. Similarly, for the fourth fraction, 1 upon root 7 plus root 8. Now I don't have to do rationalization. I can directly follow the pattern and write minus root 7 plus root 8. And for the fifth fraction, I can directly write it as 1 upon root 8 plus 3. I can directly write it as minus root 8 plus 3. Right? So these are all the simplified versions of first, second, third, fourth, and fifth fractions. So let's add them. What will we get when we add them? So it will be minus 2. I'm sorry. Will it be minus 2? Yes, it will be minus 2. Minus 2 plus root 5 minus root 5 plus root 6 minus root 6 plus root 7 minus root 7 plus root 8 minus root 8 plus 3. Cancel, 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 cancel. Beautiful question. Minus 2 plus 3 is equal to 1. Simplified form. I hope you understood this. Whoever asked me this doubt, beautiful question. Excellent question was this. So full rationalizations concept is cleared in one question. Right? So this particular part is done. Let's move to the last part of the doubt solving session, that is exponents. I'm going to solve polynomial doubts, but in the next video. So those who are in hurry of getting polynomials doubts cleared, I can understand that you are excited, you want to solve all your doubts, but it takes time. Understand there are only 24 hours in a day. You want to learn everything in one day, but that's not possible, okay? So it will take time. You have to be very, very patient. Very, very patient. Humans are working here. You are human, I am human, right? And the process of education is a very human process. So in this very human process, we cannot expect speed like machines. It's not natural, right? Speed like machines. It's good to have speed like machines, but then you are not less than a robot. We don't want to become robots here. We want to become human beings who can feel, who has emotions, who are articulate, who can have skills, have talents. Uh, so that's my vision, right? So although I'm a maths teacher, I teach physics, maths, and all these technical subjects, but I appreciate creativity in human beings, and there is absolutely no space for machine-like behavior, right, in my pattern of teaching or learning. Let's have a look at question number 4C. The first out from the third worksheet of exponents, cube root of 4 raised to minus 5. Cube root of 4 raised to minus 5. Cube root of 4 raised to minus 5. Let's solve this. So first, what I'm going to do over here is write 1 as 1 and 4 raised to minus 5 raised to 1 by 3. Let me just edit that. Sorry. I'm just going to write it all over again. I need some more space here. So 1 upon 4 raised to minus 5, the whole raised to 1 by 3. Now you tell me, where did this 1 by 3 come from? Because there is a cube root here. Cube root of 4 raised to minus 5. I wrote it as 4 raised to minus 5, the whole raised to 1 by 3. Now I will write it as 1 upon 4 raised to minus 5 into 1 by 3. Can I write it like this? Yes, definitely. I can write it again as 1 upon 4 raised to minus 5 by 3. Can I write it like this? Yes, I can. And then I'm going to write it as 4 raised to 3. I'm sorry, I have to take LCM. I'm sorry, I have to take reciprocal. When I take reciprocal, that is when I take the term in the numerator, it is directly going to change the sign of its power. So the power remains the same. Power remains the same. Only thing, it will become plus. So 4 raised to 5 by 3. Now some people are confused and they say that, sir, should we solve it further? No need to solve it further. This is by far you can solve it. This is the last step. Here you will get full marks. So no need to solve 4 raised to 5 and then find its cube root. No need to do all that. Right? Let's have a look at the next question. Okay, yeah, this is the next question. Show that x raised to a raised to b minus c. Just a moment. Yeah, x raised to a raised to b minus c upon x raised to b into a minus c divided by x raised to b upon x raised to a, the whole raised to c is equal to 1. Okay, let's write question number 8a LHS. LHS means left hand side. X raised to a bracket b minus c, the whole upon x raised to b bracket a minus c divided by x raised to b upon x raised to a, the whole raised to c. Okay, we have to prove it as 1. Let's do this. x raised to ab minus ac upon x raised to ab minus bc. What I did was multiplied that a and b which was there in outside the bracket and simplified it. Divided by, can I write it as x raised to b minus a the whole into c. Okay. In the first fraction also I'm going to do something very interesting. Just see, x raised to ab minus ac minus bracket ab minus bc, because they are in denominator and numerator, so when they are brought together I can use the identity, use the law of exponent that says x, sorry, a raised to m upon a raised to n is equal to a raised to m minus n. Using that law I have done this, divided by x raised to bc minus ac. Right, so let's simplify. X raised to ab minus ac minus ab plus bc divided by x raised to bc minus ac. So here minus ab plus ab gets cut and we are left with x raised to minus ac plus bc divided by x raised to bc minus ac. And again using the same law, a raised to m divided by a raised to n is equal to a raised to m minus n. We can write it as x raised to minus ac plus bc minus bracket, whenever there is a minus sign you put the bracket, okay, bc minus ac. So signs, changing the sign will become simple, x raised to minus ac plus bc minus bc plus ac. So minus ac plus ac gets cut, bc minus bc gets cut, so that is x raised to 0, which is 1, which is your RHS. Always specify what is LHS, what is RHS. Start solving LHS and get your answer as RHS. Don't write here is equal to 1, is equal to 1 and go on solving it. This is stupidity and this is absolutely wrong. Solve, you can solve only one side because you have to prove this. It's not given that LHS is equal to RHS. So you have to solve, keep on solving LHS, LHS, LHS and finally end up at RHS. Right, so this is how you solve question number 8a. Your next doubt is question number 9. Let's see what is it. Question number 9. Assuming that x, y and z are positive real numbers, simplify each of the following. Let's do it. It seems very simple. Question number 9. Question number 9, I'm going to try the first one. A. Square root of x cube minus, sorry, x cube into y raised to minus 2. Square root of x cube into y raised to minus 2. Okay. Can I write it as square root of x cube upon y square, x cube upon y square? Yes, I can write it as. Now, can I write it as x cube upon y square the whole raised to 1 by 2? The square root becomes raised to 1 by 2. So this will be x raised to 3 into 1 by 2 upon y raised to 2 into 1 by 2. Right? So this 2 and 2 will cut. So you will get x raised to 3 by 2 upon y. x raised to 3 by 2 upon y. So this is the best way of simplifying. This is how you can simplify. You don't need to simplify it further, right? Even if the final answer does not match here and there, it's okay. But this is the answer where you can get expect full marks, right? This is where you can leave it. Okay, don't simplify it further. B. Fifth root of fifth root of 243 into x raised to 10 y raised to 5 z raised to 10. Fifth root of 243 x raised to 10 y raised to 5 z raised to 10. Okay, just see how I'm writing everything. uh, I will write the whole thing as the whole raised to 1 by 5. Fifth root can be written as power of 1 by 5. 243 is 3 raised to 5 into x raised to 10 into y raised to 5 into z raised to 10, the whole raised to 1 by 5. Now see, 3 raised to 5 into 1 by 5 into x raised to 10 into 1 by 5 into y raised to 5 into 1 by 5 into z raised to 10 into 1 by 5. 5 gets cancelled here. 5 2s are 10. 5 gets again cancelled. 5 2s are 10. So the final answer is 3x square y z square. Simple. Question number 9 solved. Let's look at the next doubt. Easy, right? It's very easy. Don't panic, guys. I'm going to clear all your doubts. See, just 3 more doubts, 4 more doubts are there, and then we are done. Exponents will be covered. Okay, you will get confidence in exponents. It is nothing. It is the simplest chapter. Question number 11b. Question number 11b. Root of 1 by 4 plus 0.01 raised to minus 1 by 2 minus 27 raised to 2 by 3 is equal to 3 by 2. Question 11b. So what you have to do is you have to prove that. Okay, this has to be the question of prove that. Whenever, again I'm telling you, please keep this in mind. Whenever you have a question of prove that, you have to always solve by the method of LHS and RHS. Left hand side and right hand side. LHS. Root 1 by 4 plus 0.01 raised to minus 1 by 2 minus 27 raised to 2 by 3. Root 1 by 4 is 1 by 2 plus 0.01 is nothing but 1 by 100, the whole raised to minus 1 by 2 minus 27 is 3 cube, the whole raised to 2 by 3. Let's simplify it further. 1 by 2 plus this will become 100 raised to 1 by 2, right? Because minus 1 by 2, if the power has to made positive, then you must take the reciprocal of the base, right? You know it with which identity, right? I'm talking about uh, a raised to m is equal to 1 by a the whole raised to minus m, or 1 by a raised to minus m, and the reverse is also true. A raised to minus m is equal to 1 upon a raised to m. This is the identity. Great. So this will become 3 raised to 2 into, sorry, 3 into 3 into 2 by 3. 3 will get cancelled. So 1 by 2 plus 100 raised to 1 by 2 is root of 100 minus 3 square. So this is 1 by 2 plus 10 minus 9. 1 by 2 plus 10 minus 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. So 1 by 2 plus 1. If you take LCM, you get 3 by 2. Now write RHS because you have proved it. LHS is equal to RHS. Right? So in the end, you should also write hence proved. Right? This is the method with which you will solve all the questions containing LHS and RHS. Prove that question. Remember that. Don't write in some silly methods which I've been seeing in your doubts which you send me. Again, one more. Number C. 11th C. Question number 11C. What is the question? You have to prove that 2 raised to n plus 2 raised to n minus 1 upon 2 raised to n plus 1 minus 2 raised to n is equal to 3 by 2. So we are going to start with LHS. 2 raised to n plus 2 raised to n minus 1 the whole upon 2 raised to n plus 1 minus 2 raised to n. Can I write it as 2 raised to n plus 2 raised to n upon 2 raised to 1 the whole upon 2 raised to n into 2 raised to 1 minus 2 raised to n. You know why did I write it as upon 2 raised to 1 over here? I use the identity of a raised to m minus n is equal to a raised to m upon a raised to n. The laws of exponents. Let us simplify this. This will become 2 raised to n into 2 raised to 1. I am taking LCM plus 2 raised to n. The whole upon 2 raised to 1 is 2, upon 2 raised to n comes out common from the denominator, and inside is 2 raised to 1, that is 2 minus 1. Right? The next step. So from the numerator, that is this term, I'm taking out 2 raised to n common, and inside I'll be left with 2 raised to 1, which is 2 plus 1. Okay, this denominator 2 shifts down, so I'm going to get 2 into 2 raised to n bracket 2 minus 1. So 2 raised to n, 2 raised to n gets cut. 2 plus 1 is 3, and in the denominator I'm going to get 2 into 2 minus 1 is 1, which is 3 by 2, which is nothing but your RHS. Solved, easy, understood. If you don't understand, look at the video again, look at the method again, try again yourself. You will understand. Second last question. Last question of the worksheet, question number 13C. Find the value of x. Let's do it. Question number 13C. 2 raised to x minus 5 into 5 raised to x minus 4 is equal to 5. 2 raised to x minus 5 into 5 raised to x minus 4 is equal to 5. Let's solve this. 2 raised to x upon 2 raised to 5 into 5 raised to x upon 5 raised to 4 is equal to 5. So 2 raised to x into 5 raised to x is equal to 5 into 5 raised to 4 into 2 raised to 5. So 2 raised to x into 5 raised to x is equal to 5 raised to 5 into 2 raised to 5. You will ask me, how did I get 5 raised to 5? Here I've got 1. 5 raised to 1 into 5 raised to 4. So 1 plus 4 will get added. Now simply compare them. If you don't want to compare, still we have time. 2 into 5 raised to x is equal to 2 into 5 raised to 5. So 10 raised to x is equal to 10 raised to 5. And therefore, x is equal to 5. Very easy, simple way to find x. And the last and the final doubt somebody asked me just today, just for you this one. 5 bracket 8 raised to 1 by 3 plus 27 raised to 1 by 3, the whole raised to 1 by 4. Okay, what is 8 raised to 1 by 3? It is 2 cube raised to 1 by 3 plus 3 cube raised to 1 by 3. 27 is 3 cube, right? And the whole bracket 1 by 4. So square bracket 5 bracket 2 raised to 2 raised to 3 raised to 1 by 3 will be 2 plus 3 raised to 3 raised to 1 by 3 will be 3, the whole raised to 1 by 4. So this will be 5 into 5 raised to 1 by 4, that is 25 raised to 1 by 4. Okay, so 25 is 5 square. I hope I have copied the question properly, because I don't think it's matching with any answer, but let's see, I don't know. 5 square, the whole raised to 1 by 4, that is 5 raised to 2 into 1 by 4, that is 5 raised to 1 by 2, or root 5. The answer should be root 5. Now let me check uh, what this student told me. Okay, what the student told me, just let me check. Actual answer, she says, is 5. No, but actual answer cannot be 5, because cube root. Hey, did I do the cube? Hey, did I do the cube? I did not, right? I copied the question incorrect. There is a cube over here. Yes, yes, yes. Then the answer will come correct. Okay, let me resolve this one for you. And in the meanwhile, while I'm speaking, somebody has asked me one more doubt. So it's good. Oh, yeah, why did I erase this? Okay, we need more space. Anyways, just let go of this thing. I'm going to do it fresh. Okay, I'm going to solve the whole thing fresh. Don't worry. Okay, here we have a lot of space. I'm again going to write the question and solve it. The question is square bracket 5 round bracket 8 raised to 1 by 3 plus 27 raised to 1 by 3 bracket close raised to 3, which I forgot, the whole raised to 1 by 4. So 5 bracket 2 cube, which is 8, raised to 1 by 3 plus 3 cube raised to 1 by 3, the whole cube, the whole raised to 1 by 4. So 5 bracket 2 raised to 3 into 1 by 3 plus 3 raised to 3 into 1 by 3, the whole raised to 3, the whole raised to 1 by 4, right? So this will become 5, this 3 and 3 will cancel, This 3 and 3 will cancel. So 2 plus 3 is 5. The whole cube, the whole raised to 1 by 4. That is, in the square bracket, you get 5 raised to 1 into 5 raised to 3. The whole raised to 1 by 4. Now you're going to get the answer, right? So this will be 5 raised to 1 plus 3. The whole raised to 1 by 4. 5 raised to 4. The whole raised to 1 by 4. 5 raised to 4 into 1 by 4, that is 5 raised to 1, which is 5. That's the final answer. So our answer is correct. The method is perfect. And there is one more doubt. Last final doubt. Somebody just asked me, how to express 2157 upon 625 in decimal form. How to express this in decimal form? Okay, so that is the question finally. Okay, so before expressing this in decimal form, I would like you to express the denominator in its prime factorization form. So 2157 upon 625 is 25 square. So it will be 2157 upon 25 is 5 square, the whole square, that is 2157 upon 5 raised to 4. Now the easiest way to convert this into decimal form is to multiply it with 2 raised to 4 upon 2 raised to 4. Or no, yes, that is the easiest way. This is the easiest way. Because you know what will happen? 2157 into what is 2 raised to 4? 16. The whole upon, you know what is 5 raised to 4 into 2 raised to 4? Let's solve this. It's kind of exponents question. It will be 5 into 2 the whole raised to 4. That is 2157 into 16 the whole upon 10 raised to 4. That is, okay, let me just calculate what is 2157 multiplied by 16. 34512 divided by 10 raised to 4 is 1 and 4 zeros. So just 4 uh, places of decimals. So 3.4512. This is the easiest method of converting 2157 upon 625 into decimal into decimal form, right? So these were all the doubts from Maths Chapter 1 worksheet, all the difficult ones. I hope this session has helped you a lot, and now you're ready to attend the test, and I hope you do good, right? So I'm going to see you in the next class now. I hope to finish the physics chapter 1 very soon now, because there are more doubts, but polynomials doubt I have decided to solve after I complete the chapter, right? So see you in the next class. Bye bye.